Good morning. So we've finished our class, and I hope I've covered everything you needed covered. And I see you've submitted, I've got 5 questions here, and I'll address those and see where we go, see how many we can cover. So here it is. What do I need to know to be successful as a realtor? Well, you've got your license. That's enough. The state says that's enough. You're now a realtor. So start from that. Start from the recognition that you have been approved as competent to step into this world. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to continue to learn, but you can learn on top of a base of competence and fullness, not as fixing something. You've got to arrive in the scene with your buyers and sellers confident and assured that you've got something valuable to offer. So coming in feeling you're short of something ain't going to help you. Now, in that, there's 2 elements of your own orientation that are really critical. One is what's your commitment and what's your influence. Now, your commitment is the same as what I would otherwise call maybe a superordinate goal. They're a little different. Let me address the superordinate goal. Is that everything in your life addresses your superordinate goal. Like, why are you alive? Why don't you just kill yourself? Because you want to be alive. For what? Well, doing real estate ought to serve the answer to that question, because that aligns your whole being and you can live fully into your profession. So know what that higher goal is, peace and reduce suffering on the planet, or just take care of your family in a way that meets your standards. Whatever that big picture is, know that clearly. Then you can align all the rest of your behavior around that. And now if we look in just the sphere of real estate, what's your commitment? What's your stand in the matter? You're stepping into a professional domain. What is it that you're up to? My commitment was, I'm a place where deals come together. And I just lived that for the last 38 years. I'm a place where deals come together. Other people say, I'm a help. I take care of things so people can be happier and more successful. You figure out your commitment and be real clear about that. You may have to remind yourself. In fact, you better remind yourself periodically of what that commitment is, because that's where your power comes from. And frankly, that's where your influence comes from too. People want to know that you're up to something. You don't have to tell them, but they'll see it in the way you carry yourself. And then you look around for what kind of influence that has and what kind of influence you already have in your circle of friends, acquaintances, relatives. If you have no influence, you won't get anywhere. So what can you do to increase your influence? Well, you've already got the technical knowledge, the legal knowledge about how to be a realtor. You can improve your sales skills. You can do that your whole life. You can learn more about marketing. How is it that you are in people's minds when they think of a real estate problem? That's what you want. You can't expect all your marketing efforts to generate immediate responses, but you're getting a readiness in your market to think of you when they have a real estate problem. Generate your support network. You're going to need inspectors, appraisers, repair people, insurance agents, lenders. Build up your support network very specifically. Know why you're picking that person. Can you trust them? Are they reliable? Will they come forward when you need them? Do they have the knowledge that you expect them to have? And do you enjoy working with them? That's very important. This is your life. Your business isn't something separate from your life, so make sure you're putting it together in a way that you really like it. This is not a practice. You only get this life once. So take care of yourself while you're taking care of other people. You can study the psychology of buying and selling. What happens to somebody when they begin to think about moving? That disturbs people. That sets up an uneasiness in people. They don't have their solid nest to rely on anymore. So how are you going to take care of people? Maybe you can just tell them that. Be prepared for upsets to show up unexpectedly, for fears to surface that you didn't know you had. That's normal. That's normal. That happens to just about everybody. You reassure your people around in ways you can once you understand the psychology of buying and selling, especially when you're moving your nest. That's a very profound change in people's lives. Learn about life trajectories. You know, your 24-year-old who's saved up money somehow and going to get their first house is a whole different engagement and meaning and reason than if you've got somebody like my age, close to 70 or over 70, and I'm buying a house. You better take care of me a little differently because things are going to happen in my house that probably aren't going to happen in the 24-year-old's house. Prepare me for that. Help guide me so that I feel like you really have my interests in mind. And in order to do that, you need to know where I'm at in my life. Am I still working? Am I retired? Am I going to retire? Can I not retire? You got to know local ordinances and neighborhood standards. I once was in a neighborhood meeting where a policeman was there because of some trouble in the neighborhood, and he pointed out very clearly that yes, we have laws, you know, and that constrains a certain amount of behavior, but there's millions of other situations that laws don't cover and neighborhood standards do. If, in this case, he was saying, if you see a man and a woman yelling at each other in the front yard, it's okay for you to walk up and say, we don't do that around here. Establish and set neighborhood standards, but know what those are when you're taking people into different neighborhoods. You don't have to know all this stuff at once, of course. You already know enough, but keep adding, and the more you do, the more valuable you feel, and the more you bring to the party to offer your prospective clients and customers. You need to know about buildings, right? So how are they made? You know, what the different styles? What is going to break down and how do you take care of it if it does? Know the community culture. Living in Eagle Heights, for example, this is graduate student housing, is going to be a completely different experience than living in a subdivision in Oregon, city of Oregon. No, go to those places. Go to events in those places if you want to work that area so that you learn and make sure you have a feel for the culture. And of course, you've got to learn all the technical stuff. You know, you got to do Paragon, know how to get to assessor sites, how to get to a county site if you're not in a city. Valuation tools. You know, how do you do your comps? I work up my own comp spreadsheet. Don't rely much on the Paragon one. It's rather, but work with what you've got and develop something better if you need to. The phones and apps and all the sales software stuff, continue to build your acquaintance with that from a base of sufficiency. I think that pretty much addresses my first list here of what to do to be successful. Let's see, what have I, how do I get people to work with me? Well, just look at the way you approach that. If you're trying to convince somebody to work with you, then you're trying to get them to do something they don't want to do already. That's a hard battle to win. Come into the meeting knowing that you offer something of value and just let people know what it is you're bringing to the party. For me, I let them know that, you know, marketing is, you know, getting exposure to your property is very simple anymore. Anybody can do that without a realtor. What I bring to the party that you need is a problem solver, because once that property hits the market, there are going to be problems show up that nobody's seen before, even me. And I have to have the ability to solve those problems or know the people I can bring in that will help solve them. And those kind of problems are going to be critical. You're going to lose a deal if you can't solve a problem. Many problems, from, you know, the minute you hit the market to you're sitting at the closing table. I've been at the closing table. In fact, the first property I bought, the buyer got up and walked out. He said, I'm not doing this. And the seller's sitting there and he said, I want to sell this. What am I going to do? I said, well, if you want to give it to me on a land contract with my commission as down payment, then you got your property sold. And he said, deal, done. I walked out the owner of my first property. You're looking for solutions. And, you know, think possibility. Think possibility. Go beyond what you know is certain and think, what else is possible? That will open up solutions to problems you might see. So the idea is know what you're bringing to the party to offer. I say I'm a problem solver in a place where deals come together. How do you define yourself as a realtor in a way that gives something very valuable to your prospects? Okay, here's an interesting one. What if I fail? Well, of course you will fail. I have lost so many listings. I've made some serious mistakes even. But I kept moving, and you must too. Failure is a great learning opportunity. If you're not failing at all, you're not stepping into spaces that are unfamiliar. You're not taking on things you are uncomfortable with. You don't want to go beyond a certain level where your intuition says, boy, if I go here, I'm risking my client's well-being. That's your responsibility, your fiduciary responsibility to take care of your clients. But on the same is that don't let fear make your decisions. Fear will come up always. We all have that happen. You just got to say, thank you for the warning. Now step back in your corner and be ready when I need you again. Now, what needs to be done? And do it. And if you fail, hooray, because you were going to do it sometime. You just got one more out of the way. What did you learn? What did you learn? Write it down, because there's a difference between thinking of something and when you write it down. Writing down engages another part of your brain and the learning sticks deeper. Even speaking it will help that learning process. So that old adage, fail soon and often. Because that means you're learning, and pretty soon they'll become less and less because you have the courage to step into a space and not be right sometimes. Okay, how do I know I'll be good at being a realtor? That's a good one. Well, self-knowledge is critical. There are many assessments. You can go online, Google them, self-assessments. What's my motivational structure? There are 16 different motivators in every human being, and they vary in intensity in every human being. So being different is really normal. Do you know what your motivator is? One of my highest motivators is curiosity. I keep learning. And that's why I'm telling you about learn here. But you may be very low in curiosity, and you can still be a great realtor. So if you find that learning just kind of comes to you and it's not something you want to work on very hard, then look for what other motivators you have. There's a motivator for order. Maybe keeping things orderly and tidy helps things move along, and that's the gift you bring to the party. But know what that is. Go find out who you are, what your character is, what your constitution is, because that's the tool that you bring to every moment in your real estate profession. This is another way of saying, look at what excites you and interests you. Because if you're bored or you really don't like this, you should hear that and get out really quick and find that thing that does give you a life that's worth living. Well, and here, embrace the fact that you won't know if you're going to be good at this. You just have to step into it and try a few things. The worst thing for me was to reach out and find new business. So what I did was I looked for the discomfort in the place where I could generate some business information and go right into it. Go right into that discomfort and say, do you know anybody who's thinking of buying or selling real estate? Can you give me their name? Mind if I contact them? Well, you don't want me to do that. Well, would you mention my name to them? I'm here and I could probably be very useful to them. Let them know. Then the next person comes up. Oh, I don't want to do this again. Yep, I'm going to have to do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to build my business. Do you know anybody who's got an interest in buying or selling real estate? Oh, you do. Da-da-da-da-da. Keep doing that until the discomfort is your warning that you're moving your business forward, not that there's something really to be afraid of. Get a great coach. It might be the office manager in the company you work with. It might be a fellow realtor. It might be a professional life coach. Whoever it is, Find those people that love to help you be successful, help you understand deeper. I had that when I started out. Boy, a broker in my office was a born mentor. He just took me and taught me every basic that I didn't know. Extremely helpful, because you're not going to do this alone. That's a great thing about the community of realtors. Uh-oh, I'm over my time. I'm going to cut this out right now, Christy. That's it.